Okay, welcome back. We're going to now continue with our training on the GoodX web. We're going to look now at appointments and diary administration. So just to show you, when I go back to my learning center and we went to our medical and dental GoodX web training manual, this is our diary and medical data management training, and we're going to start here with the appointments and the diary administration. So this is the training we're going to cover now. We're going to start with the appointments and move into the diary administration as we go along, and this is also under the learning center where you can see this. So we're going to look now at book a new patient, and I'm going to and here, as you can see, under learning center, you are more than welcome later to follow through this list on your own and print this out or practice as you need to look at the web and see how you can do this. Print this out, log into your website, GoodX web, and try and do this on your own in the future from here on. So this is what we're going to cover, is the appointments, from creating a new patient straight through to diary administration, and look at the functions that is important for you and what you need to focus on. Some of these options you will maybe not use, so I'm not going to cover all of them in detail, but the ones that's important we will do cover. As from now, book new patient is the one that we're going to start with, and just to show you on a learning center again. So when you go to home, you go to your GoodX web medical and dental, you click on that. Once you're in this website, you go down to appointments and you book new patient. Once you've done that, you can see again the book new data learning tutorial, and you will see the pictures and text to explain to you how you do this on the actual diary. If you want to read through this, to view the video, you just simply click on it. It will open.
Hello and welcome to another GoodX web training session. In this video, we will be showing how to create a booking for a new debtor or patient. Start by double clicking on a time slot that you want to create the booking in.
You can just close the video as required.
In the booking
and just play again as you need it. Stop it and play it and pause it and go through the tutorial on your own from that side. So book new patient is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to show you on the actual learnings on our training website how we do this. Just remember, you can always go to the learning center and view this. So from this, the web page, we're going to start this process of booking a new patient, and the appointment starts with loading the patient on the diary. Now you will have two different types of appointed patients. You will have a new patient or an existing patient. So we're going to do both and show you how do I book a new patient. It's never been there before, so there is no file. And I'm going to show you how to book an existing patient that's already been there before and already have a file on this in the system, and you just quickly want to book that patient. Booking should be quick and easy and fast. It should take you a few seconds to actually load that information and should not take you very long to do this. So we're going to start by booking a new patient. As you can see, my render policy, it's set now to stack by time. So that means I'm not too worried about the time the patient needs to be here. It's another practice thing where I work on the principle of they phone you and then you make an appointment. They walk in, for instance, and you want to load this patient onto the system. So I start with new booking here at the top right corner, and as I click on new booking, the system is going to ask me, okay, which diary do we need to load this on? You will select your diary. If you're on that diary, it will obviously select it in by itself. Then you will select the type. Now, this is very important. This must be decided by you and your FCL. What types do you want? And there's a color code to it, so you can also decide on your different colors. The idea of the type is to help you as a technician / treating provider, doctor, to understand what type of patient am I dealing with and how will I be charging this type of patient. So if this is a consultation, it's a 15-minute booking, or let's say a half an hour booking, or if it's a new patient, it's a follow-up, it can just be a 15-minute booking. Emergency takes priority, and the outer office, the doctor is not available. Then there's a cancel option, and the assessment. It just depends on your type of practice and how you want to load these types and what they are going to mean for you and how you want to use this. The purpose of these types There's two major options here in the GoodX system. Is number one is obviously for stats, so I can see how many follow-ups I've seen during the month or a week, and how many new patients and consultations and emergencies I've dealt with. Also, a nice feature later on into the system, if I do select an emergency, it will automatically, you can link codes to this type, and the system will start billing those codes as quickly as possible and load it into the invoice screen, so you can just click on post. So it's also a quick way of quickly loading specific coding on a specific type of patient. Helps making your billing much faster and quicker. To get to a point where you can bill the patient while he's still there. And that's also one of the main missions of GoodX, is to try and book the patient, load the information from the medical aid while the patient is there, and bill the patient while he's there, send a claim to the medical patient while he's there. By the time the patient gets back to reception, they can pay any rejections and walk out with a statement. Now the web system allows you to do this very quick and fast, so you should be able to do this very nicely. Then I select my type, so I'm just going to say this is a basic consultation. Then I select my status. Now status means where is the patient currently in the practice. He's booked or arrived, just depends on how you work. If you work with booking patients, you will select booked. If it's just a walking type of practice, then you will obviously start with arrived. Arrived means the patient is currently now standing at reception. So that's where we will start and say the patient is now here. And I can, if you want to now, you may select the time he walked in. And obviously because you clicked on your booking, it should be more or less at the time we're currently at. Duration is how long the patient will be here. The type was set up for 15 minutes. It will be automatically on 15 minutes. You're more than welcome to extend that by changing it manually to 20 minutes, or select the time when the patient is, how the appointment should be. The treating provider, this will also be defaulted to the diary, and that's why we set the diary is usually set up per doctor. So this will be the treating doctor or the treating provider rendering the service. You also can change this if you work on different doctors on one specific diary. You just simply delete that, and you can select the doctor that is required or person that is part of that structure. Okay, so I just want to change this to that one. Then you have your reason. Please, if you can, fill in the reason. It's just nice for the doctor or the treating provider to see why the patient is coming in. If the patient does not want to give that information, that's fine. But for dental, this could be a crown or extraction. For x-rays, it could be a chest x-ray or ankle x-ray. There's different things you can put in here. If it's a GP, it's a flu, or it's a broken toe, or it's stitching, or it's anything that you can help the treating provider what they need to prepare for, and that I can put in free text, so you can put in anything you want. And the doctor or everybody on the diary that using the GoodX system will see the reason why the patient is coming in. Then you will have your service center. This is very important for the claims to the medical aids, number one. Number two, also this is important for stats, so we can see where your patients has been treated. There's typically a rooms in a hospital. Rooms is normally all your standard consultations, and if you work in a hospital environment with theatre or scans or radiology, pathology, whatever the case might be, even physios, then you will select hospital, so the medical aid knows that this claim is coming from the hospital side, and it will be submitted according to this. It is important to load the service center correctly. And if you work in different branches, yes, we can accommodate that as well, to load 5 different branches, so that we know in which branch the patient was also treated. So once I've loaded that, this is a new patient, so immediately I've selected now consultation, I've selected my time and my doctor involved. He's coming in for flu, it's in the service center rooms. And here now at data details, I will type in the information of the patient's name and surname with his cell phone number. I only need this to start this booking. I don't need to fill in the rest, as you can see, the IDs, the emails, the medical aid information. But if you do have time to do this, you can complete more than is required. What is required is this little star here that you see, the red asterisk next to the name, the surname, and cell phone. That is required fields. you must fill in these fields before you can click on save to make this booking. So please fill in that information. I only need a patient's detail now. You're more than welcome to fill in the member and the patient, but if I click on save, this member will be copied to the patient anyway. So I'm just going to click on save, and I just check everything. I've got my doctor, I've got my booking is type is consultation, is arrived, is in the rooms, it's flew, it's appeared with his cell phone number. Why do we need his cell phone number? So I can send out reminder SMSs or any type of SMS to my patient directly from the diary or the system in the end of the day. So now I'm going to click on save, and the patient has been loaded. There you can see it will show arrived. It's a consultation in the top left corner, and it's declared peer is my patient with his cell phone number. The doctor is going to treat this patient as Dr. Skold, and the member in this scenario currently is also peer, and he's coming in for flu. So that's the reason for your appointment will show there, so please make sure that you have that information. If you just leave it blank, then nothing will display in that sense. So now I can just do another one. I can just go back to the top right corner again, click on new patient, say this is a follow-up, and same doctor, reason, I can just specify again a reason here. If it's just follow-up, you can just leave that blank. Again, if it's a new patient, now I can put in here Peter. And I will put in a surname, and then cell phone number again. Again, click on save. As you can see, a new patient booking should take you a few seconds. We just need the type of appointment, and the name, the surname, and the cell phone number. Immediately you click on save. The file is not yet open. We still need to open the file for this patient, but at least I'll load it onto the system, and the reception or admin people can start with the next process, and that is actually to open up the file. So now the patient has been booked. So the next step, technically speaking, is now to arrive the patient. So if you do not work with bookings in that sense, you immediately will just put it onto arrive, telling us that the patient is already here at the reception. If it's a normal booking practice, we still first book the patient, then they walk in at reception, then we arrive the patients. So how do I change the status here from booked to arrive? You will see here on the right hand side is a sidebar. On this sidebar, there's an option here that says advanced status, and it's currently now unbooked, so the next status will be arrived. And to trigger that status, I just click here on this button once, and it will change to arrived, and the color will now change to arrive. Color will change, and now it will say the next status will be ready. So that's just to show that the patient is here. So now let's quickly look at an existing patient. How do I do the same booking for an existing patient? I immediately go to new booking there at the top again. I just click on that, and I say this is a GP again, this is a consultation, doctors, the right doctor selected, the reason why they're coming in, it's for a scan. If there is an overlapping, it will show that it's overlapping with someone else. That is perfect for a scenario where we work with actual bookings and a doctor or reception wants to see that they're overlapping with another booking. And in your scenario, if you're just working with walking patient, you will just ignore that. Here at data, I will now search for the patient that's already been loaded on the system. So here I can now start and type in, and here will show you the data name, the surname, the ID, or the medical aid membership number. So if I do put in I can look for Buerta, so if I just type in Buerta, I will be able to search for Buerta. Now I can select which Buerta am I dealing with, and that is because I'm searching under data. Now data means in GoodX it's the main member. That's the person that's responsible for paying the account at the end of the day. And that's the main member under medical aid. So that's what our data is, that's a person owing you the money. So in this scenario, I'm going to select Peter Buerta, and then it will fill in all the members' details by default, name, surname, IDs, telephone numbers, because you already have opened the file before. Also on the right hand side, it will show a list of all the patients on this file, and here you will select the actual patient that's coming in for this treatment or visit. So please make sure from a reception point of view that you select the right person. There will be 4 or 5 people here. It's the member with all the dependents. Select the right person, because this will start the whole process in GoodX. And if you do select the wrong patient, you can change it later, but please be aware, if you do select the wrong patient, all the clinical information will be captured on the wrong patient, all the billing will be in the wrong patient, all the claims will be on the wrong patient. So please confirm that you do select the right patient. Then I click on save, and that member will be loaded. There is Peter Buta, and as you can see, it's loaded. It's currently unbooked again. And to see if it's an existing file, the thing that I can see, it is a GPE number 37. It tells me immediately there is an actual file for this patient. Let's just do another one just to quickly see again. New booking. It is a follow-up. The reason why is coming in, and again now I can also search under patient directly. First thing one I did was under data, the member, but you can also search directly on the patient that's under that member. So here I can select, for instance, Mpo, and I can just select that, and it's Mpo, and it's also the same dependent. So you can search under member directly, or you can search under patient directly. If for some reason you feel you cannot find that patient, you do have a bit more advanced option here, the 3 little dots here after the search. Once you click on that, it will show me a bit more detail, and the search option still there at the top. So again, I can see a bit more as I type, and I will be able to see more detail on my files. For this, for Charmaine, and Charmaine will have maybe, for instance, 2 dependents in that scenario. Please make sure that if you do battle the search, just use that option as well. So select the patient that is part of the booking and click on save. So as you can see, it should be very quick and very fast. I will be able to go to new patient booking, select my type, it's an assessment. Immediately that changed to 60 minutes there at the top. It's just to indicate that I did link my time to my type of appointment while they're coming in. Type in the patient's name, Paul, and make sure I've selected Paul, and click on save, and the booking is done. And like I said, if you do not work on an actual point of patients phoning in and make appointments, it does not matter. The idea is here to load the patient that walks in your center, in your practice. So this should be a list of all the patients you've seen for the day, and here's my control to see if that I open up all the files, and what I immediately can see with these 2 bookings here, that the files have not been created yet. How do I pick it up? I don't see a GPE number in front or DEB to tell me it's an account number, and in the right hand side, when you look at your sidebar, you will see it says data not open. So that indicates to me that I still need to open up this file. Another quick way to see this A here, there's also a black A with a black background, and it says account. If you hover over it, patient not a data, it tells me it is still not open. So in this sense, I can quickly pick up the files that I still need to create. So reception has now booked the patient, because the patient walked in at reception. So the next step is she should now be able to arrive the patient. So I will make sure the patient is on arrive status. And the moment they're on arrive status, now I can start opening the file. So how do I, and I will get to opening the file also in a little while. At any time, I can also click again on any booking, and as I click on the booking, I can double click that booking, and I can change any of the details here. If I made a mistake, I can change it to another date, I can change the time, I can change the doctor, I can change the type, I can even change the status. You can also change the patients if you've selected the wrong patient. You can even update your reasons and change the service center. So the idea is, if I make a booking and I feel I made a mistake, I can just double click on that booking and quickly change my details of the appointment type. You cannot change the details of the patient directly. For that, you need to go into edit data if I want to update the files information. If it's just a new patient booking and I feel that Pierre should change to Peter, there's nothing stopping me from quickly changing that, for instance, to Peter, and just save the booking again. And once it refreshes, it should update my file to Peter. Just depends on what you update as well. Please make sure that's the member and there is the patient. If you do change it, please make sure you change all the necessary fields involved. Okay, so now at any stage you can also extend appointments, you can cancel appointments, you can move appointments to another doctor in that sense. You can do this by just simply double clicking again on this, change the doctor. If you want to change this to another doctor or treating provider, then the appointment will move to that. If you want to change it to another date, you can change the date and the appointment will be moving to the next date. So here I can, for instance, take Peter and say you must come in rather tomorrow, and then when I save it, we'll take it off this list, and if I go to tomorrow, I will see Peter is now on tomorrow's date. So you can quickly move your appointments by just changing the date by double clicking the appointment, and you can change the doctors in the same principle, or treating providers by just double clicking, and then it will move to the correct diary. As you can see, all these doctors are on Dr. Shields, so I can just quickly go and change that doctor to, for instance, Dr. Kutzer, and save it. It will just warn me because mine is set up for a specific reason, and it will change that doctor. If you use your multi-views, multi-day, multi-doctors views, you can actually drag and drop the bookings between the different diaries, different days, in other words, and different doctors. To cancel appointment, if you made a mistake with the booking, you can just double click on it and press this little dustbin here at the top right corner. It will ask you to delete the appointment. Are you sure? And then you can actually delete it and it will disappear from your list. That is fine if you made a mistake, but we do suggest that if the patient phoned you and cancelled the appointment, rather change the status to cancelled. That's an easier way to indicate it, and it will still show it under diary, and later on I can see how many people cancel their appointments for phoning in and say they can't make their appointment again. So you can change your diary information by double clicking on the appointment, you can cancel it, you can move it by changing the dates, and you can change the doctors as it is required. Okay, if I do delete an appointment and it's gone, are you sure you want to delete this appointment? It will go away, but as you can see, my display option is show active bookings, so it shows a red line through it. That indicates to me that that appointment was deleted with the delete option. If I do switch it like this, show active, and I put it off, you will see that person is now not on the diary. And once I switch it back on to show all active bookings, now I can see my deleted appointments. And if I accidentally deleted that one, I can actually reactivate it again by just clicking on the right mark. And this appointment will change back to an active appointment. Okay, also at any time you can see history on any of your bookings. So I can see on my booking what happened in the history on this patient, who made changes on this, when it was moved to other dates or doctors. There's always a history, so we always keep a log on GoodX on what is happening with our bookings, our files, our billing. So we keep a full audit trail on all of our options so that we can give back information if someone accidentally deleted something and who made billings and claims and receipts or any changes on this system. You'll see here the history button. Once you double click on the booking, you're be able to see what happened with this booking across a certain time frame. Okay, so now we have looked at how to make a booking. You just go here to new bookings and you will put in the new patient detail, or you will search the member, put in the details of the reason why, the type, the status, the doctor, and you quickly load it onto the list. Now I have a list of all my appointments, and on the right hand side, as I left click on a booking, you will see in the right hand side there is a panel, and this panel will give me all the information that I need to see, and also all the actions I need to do on this patient. So although we talk about the diary, the whole purpose here, it becomes a list, it becomes your control center. You select the booking, and on the right hand side I can see the full names of this member, his account details, which medical aid is on, what is currently outstanding on the account, or what's currently outstanding on the invoice. I can see if it has been validated with the medical aid. I can change his status. I can view his file by clicking on Debtor Edit. I can go into his account by going to account details and see all the billing and the receipts and journals and credit notes that have been done in this file. I can generate his clinical events from here. This we will get a bit later too also well, with seeing also his clinical history. From here I will be able to generate his claim by doing the invoice, so in other words the billing with all the codes, and send it to the medical aid. And here I can do a receipt by capturing the money that the patient paid. There's a My GrandCentral option, we'll explain that a little bit later as well. And here I will have my SMS that I can send. As long as I've got an SMS filled in onto the booking, I can send an SMS to the patient. As long as there's an email address, I can send an email. Then we can download or email the statements, the receipts, and the invoices. So technically speaking, from here on the right hand side, you have full access to the whole patient's file, and you can quickly access certain account information from here, send him statements, emails, SMSs, and bill the patient quickly and capture receipts from here. So what makes the web so easy to use is the fact that I can quickly load a patient here, and on the right hand side I can access all his information, and I can quickly see what's currently going on this patient at any specific time, and react according to the information that I see here. Remember, at any stage that I can print this list out. So if you know there's going to be power failures or something, you want to give a list to the doctor, you're more than welcome to print it here or mail it to the doctor so he can see what's going on tomorrow. But because this is web-based, remember you can access this actually from anywhere, either tablet, even your phone to a certain level, and a doctor can see, or the treating provider can see the bookings for that specific time. Okay, so now just remember, I'm going to make sure that that one is cancelled, that one is booked, so I'm just going to arrive that patient. When I click on it once, it will change to arrived, arrived, arrived. That one is also booked, arrived. Arrived means the patient has walked in at the door. So the next step is to make sure that reception will do everything extra that's needed before we're going to change the status to ready. Once the patient is ready, then the doctor or treating provider will know they can come and fetch the patient and start doing their treatment or consultation or procedure, depending on the scenario. So the next step, I've marked it now as arrived. So from here, we get to a point where we need to decide, do we need to open up the file if it's still a new patient, and also upload any other documents or anything that is currently still needed. So to open that file, how do we open up that file? So let's look at the next point. So now I've booked this new patient, Peter Beloy, for instance, but I need to import or load or open up his file. And as you can see on the right hand side, we've got our panel and there's a Debtor Add. All the other buttons are grayed out. I can't do anything until I open up the file. So reception loaded this patient, Peter Beloy, for instance, but no one can do anything until reception opens up the file as well. So now she's booked a patient. The patient is marked as arrived. The next step is she should open up the file. So once I click on Debtor Add, it will open me the screen where I put in my data details. So there are three options here for opening a file. First one is obviously manual. So reception can go and actually start here with the surname, yes, Beloy, ID type is RSA ID, and now they can fill in the ID number. So in other words, they can open up this file manually. Fill in all the details, mail, Mr. Initial, cell phone number, telephone numbers, email address, language, data type. Is this a private patient, an ID patient? Normal, we mean this is a medical aid patient. So if it's a private patient, I just select private. I can fill in the employer, the next of kin, the addresses. So here I will be able to load an address manually. on your live site, it actually will import it from Google, so you can either see whether that address is actually existing address, and it will show it to you there. Once you've loaded that information, you can just copy it over to the postal, and then you will fill in the actual patient under that member by clicking on add new patient. So this is Peter, for instance. Now if there's a wife involved, I will say add new patient, and I will put in Sarah and put in her ID number. And as you can see, we just load this manually like any other system would do this. Initials, date of birth, she is not the main member, she is the spouse, and her date of birth as necessary. So this should be calculated obviously from the ID, but like I said, this is a testing system, so we just fill in the information. That's the first step, is opening up this file manually. That's your typical private patient, and then you will click on save to actually save this file. So, and then the system will tell you if something is missing, and below is Sarah, now changed now to GPE 40. So now we have a file number for Sarah, and now we can start doing the clinical and the invoicing and receipting. Now these buttons are active, and you should be able to do your work from here. So that was the one option as manual. That's typically your private patients anyway. You need to open up that files manually. So I'm just going to click another booking, and I'm going to say this is a consultation, new patient, that is, let's say this is let's quickly load another one. The cell phone number. And then I'm just going to save it. So now this is a medical aid patient, for instance, Discovery, Med Scheme or GEMS, or some of the other medical aids. And because they're Discovery or Med Scheme or GEMS patient, we can actually import them directly from the medical aid as long as you have their membership number. So you will book that patient, name and surname. You will load it onto GoodX as a booking. You go to Data Add, and then here at the top you will see Import Data. And here you will click on this, and the system is going to ask you medical aid. There's your one option here. So this is my second option. I say first one is opening manually. Second is actually importing directly from the medical aid. Here I can put in now the medical aid. This patient is on Discovery. His plan, let's say comprehensive, Delta, comprehensive acute, and then put in his actual membership number. From here, I will be able to import this directly from the medical aid. The moment I click on import, the system will validate your membership number with that medical aid and open up a second screen that you will see on your live system that I cannot show you currently on the training system. There you will see a list of all the dependents with the member on the left hand side on that second screen. You will mark the main member who's that's currently going to be your main member, and then you will just mark the ones the system must import, and then the system will load for you all those members, the member with all their dependents, the name, the ID, the membership number, the date of birth, and the dependent code. All of that will be automatically imported from the medical aid. Once you've clicked on that import button again the second time, then you just need to fill in the addresses, the telephone numbers, and the next of kin information. The rest will be imported directly from the medical aid. We do suggest this at every possible time. If a new patient walks into your practice, reception should import. If a medical aid cannot import, then you will switch over to manual mode and capture the rest of the information manually. The third option is, so once I've imported this, if you do not fill in information, the system will tell you where it's required. So please look at the required fields. Even if you do import from the medical aid, if some of that information is missing, please make sure you update all that information. The system in any way will not allow you to go on if that information is not being captured. So please make sure all the information is filled in accurately. That's why we say importing from the medical aid is your best option. Reception will not have a problem with misspelling or characters or numbers that's been swapped around. no rejection because of invalid date of birth or dependent codes, because we imported directly from the medical aid. Also, on the same note, if an existing patient walks in the door, reception should always validate that patient as well. To do that, they will select that booking, they will go to Debtor Edit, and now on the right hand side here at the top corner will be a validate benefits check that will only become available once you've opened the file. So the first step is to import it from the medical aid, and then from there on in the future I can just validate. Now the validation benefits check will just confirm whether the members is still active at the medical aid with that membership number, so they have not been suspended for non-payment or something like that. And also the benefits check will help you with discovery only to see if there's enough day-to-day benefits available for this consultational treatment that I'm going to do. This is a very nice option for our discovery patients, and you can just ask your FCL on the amount that you want to put in. So in other words, what we mean is we fill in a 500 Rand or 450 for a benefits check, and discovery will then confirm yes, there is enough day-to-day benefits available. So the validation must be done also from reception for any medical aid patient that's coming in, at least 3 months old and or older, so we can confirm whether they're still active or on the same medical aid, or any information about the benefits if we can get that from discovery. At any stage as well, you can run the import function again just to confirm if there's any new people part of the membership. So that's perfect for newborn babies, and even scenarios where we get divorced, scenarios where people will move over to another medical aids, or even children and also getting to a certain age and leave the parents' medical aid to go onto their own. So you will use the import function at any time to pull that new dependent into the system on an existing file. So now we've opened the file. So like I said, there's 3 ways: manually filling in all the details, going to Debtor Edit, click on import, import directly from the medical aid. So what is the third option? When I do my import, we actually have an option that says GrandCentral members. What do we mean by that? It's My GrandCentral, My GC. You will also see it here in your side panel on the right hand side, My GC. The process is very simple. If you want to activate a My GC, it's a very nice function where it's an online website that the patient can register. It's either accessible from a website or directly from a phone, or a kiosk that we can install in your practice where the patient can load it at reception. So it means, in other words, that the patient can preload the information, their addresses, name, telephone number, card information, membership in other words. Also upload their ID with a photo, upload their membership card with a photo, and you can then import that information directly in GoodX when the patient walks in. This works very nicely if you make bookings and you send out an SMS to the patient that we call a SyncVite. They can log onto the website, register there and import it and load it, and when the patient comes in the next day, you can just simply import it. For our traveling people as well, this is also a very nice feature in that sense. Otherwise, you can just request for the kiosk. You can install it onto your table, your reception, or the wall, and the patient can stand there and fill in all his details. So we're getting more and more to the option of paperless. Once they put in all the information, they sign it also off on the tablet, and it imports directly into your system. No need for the patient to do paperwork, and you need to help them to fill that in. They can do it from the tablet at the kiosk directly at your office or your practice. It's a very nice feature for the future as well. And also we allow online bookings, but it just depends on your type of practice whether you do need that. If you want more information on My GrandCentral, just please contact your FCL or go to our learning center and request any information, look at the information that provided. Okay, at any stage now, we can see also here we've now booked the patient. We have now imported the information for the patient or member directly from the medical aid. So the next phase then is from a reception point of view to make sure if we did not import it from My GrandCentral, we still need to make a copy of their membership cards or the IDs, and we need to upload that into the web. And as you can see here on your booking, there's a few icons here or text that says CDSIAV, and as you hover over it, it will show you specific information. What does the color mean? But here you will see a D for documents, and that document is still outstanding. So I need my ID and I need my medical aid card. You can set this up with your FCL again what you need here. And here on the side panel you will see add documents in a red button. So if the D is red, it means you still need to upload these documents. It's still outstanding. This is still part of your arrival process. We've booked a patient. Now we've arrived, the patient is here. Now we've imported his information. Now we're going to upload all these scans, so in the sense of his ID and his membership card, or any other document that he brings in, like a blood result or something. You can also upload it in, or what is ever required, or the terms and conditions that you have printed and they've signed it. We can upload any of those documents onto the patient's file. And here you can start this process by saying add documents. The moment you click on it, it will open up a screen that says upload your documents. Then there's a green text that says save documents, and then we've got documents outstanding. And here I can see what I'm required. I need an EID and I need a medical aid card. So once you've scanned it from your scanner, and it says on your computer, you can just click on upload, say choose file, and I can go and select that image and then upload it directly into the system. So this you will do with your membership card, and you will do it with the ID, and in certain practices they need a consent for theatre or operations, or even the terms and conditions. If you still let the patient sign it, you can do it the same way, scan it and then upload your terms and conditions. Remember, we're getting more and more to paperless. This is where we start the process for you for uploading all that information into the system. Once you have done all of that, that D should change to green, telling you that all the outstanding documents have been uploaded. This is just to help our receptionists and guide them to make sure we do not miss any documents. So remember, this kind of documents that I upload here, it's only a patient document or data document, so anybody can view this. The moment we talk about pathology reports or referral letters or something in that sense, that's patient specific, that's clinical information, and that is uploaded into the clinical tab, where we have clinical events for that, where we upload a PDF report. And we will get to that scenarios when we get to the next training session, that we say the clinical information, that we usually start here at 11, where we're going to explain this whole process about the clinical functions, and part of that clinical functions will be any clinical information that you get from any doctor or pathologists or radiologists, or any other clinical information. Typically the clinical information will only be accessible for the doctor or the treating person in the scenario, but it obviously depends on how the practice will be operating in that sense. So these documents that I'm talking about here is simply your ID, your membership card, terms and conditions, and maybe consent forms. So that's from a reception point of view where I quickly upload this. And then saved online on the cloud, and you don't need that physical papers anymore. So from here, the sides panel, just want to confirm we looked at everything here. Theatre bookings, I don't think we need to look at theatre bookings, just depending on your type of discipline. Authorizations, it also just depends on where you're going to work with authorizations in that sense. This I will load here at next to my validation is a little heart, and here I will be able to add any authorization information, the code, the date it's valid from, the description on it, and even if it should be linked to a diagnosis or description or something like that. If you work with specific authorization, you're more than welcome to obviously add it in here, and then it will pull through to the billing. Otherwise, you will do authorizations when you bill. You must fill in your authorization code when you do your billing. Please make sure that you can edit a file at any stage. So again, you just select the booking, you click on Data Edit, and here you can view all your patient and members details. You can edit this, you can add new patients manually, but remember, if it's part of the medical aid, you should import it. Here you will be able to do your validation and do your benefits check. Here's your authorizations. Also from here you will be able to print labels if in certain scenarios you want to print your labels, and also here at the bottom left corner you should be able to print a cover sheet. So if you need an actual printout to send to any other specialist or therapist that needs that information for billing purposes. Also at any time, if a patient is not part of that medical aid anymore, you can mark this patient as inactive so that no billing can take place on this patient on this file again. And then we will just ask you, why are you making this patient inactive, either deceased or own medical aid? We do have options to expand that, but that's our typical scenarios from here. Let's just confirm anything on the right side. Remember to print your diary when you need your diary. At any stage you can print it. Data edit is to edit that. So upload your documents, so make sure all your documents are in place. At any time, reception can also view the account to see if any billing is done. So if I look at my C here, if it's green, all clinical files have been loaded, or notes has been added, documents outstanding, no switching has taken place. The I tells me there is an invoice that has been paid. The green A tells me the account has been paid, and then I see my validation. Remember, the text will hover over it, your mouse. It will display with you in that what it actually means, what the status is currently at that level. Also from here is your notes, and you will be able to quickly view your notebook from here. Remember, notes are very crucial here. Any account notes, this is not clinical notes. Clinical notes will be done by the doctor under clinical functions, so all these clinical notes will be there. Your notes from reception to the patient, so all communication between reception and patient must be here on the notebook, and all communication between a medical aid must be here on the notebook. So any arrangement for payment with the patient or any queries on claims of the medical aids, everything you do with the patient should be on this notebook. Automatically will also reflect there any SMSs and emails that you might be submitting from out of the GoodX system. So that is my typical patient bookings that we're dealing with here. So you've seen how do I make a new patient and an existing patient. So I'm almost going to finish this off with the out of office type of bookings. So what do we mean by that is, if your doctor is not or therapist is not available, you should book that person also out of the practice, and we call that an out of patient booking. So you will select that, and you will say this doctor is out of the practice, and then you will say how long will they not be available and save. This will obviously work perfectly in a booking scenario, but if you're a walk-in practice, it's not necessarily that important. You must probably just want to make sure that you know when your therapist / treating provider will be available in the end of the day. A booked out of office just shows me it's the doctor is not available, or the therapist or treating provider, and you cannot bill anything on it. It's just a booking to show where that person is and they are not available for that date. So please use this if you are working on a booking environment where you need to know at all times if your doctor or treating provider is actually available for that date. If they're not available, then you will book them out in that scenario. Okay, so that's from here. I can book my booking. So the next step then is, if I've loaded up everything, the next phase, reception will then mark their booking status to ready. So every time she clicks on this ready buttons, it will now show the next stage is going to be treated, and the treated stage will be triggered by the person doing the billing. That's typically our doctors or the admin personnel, and in certain cases, yes, even reception. Once you've billed the patient, that should go change to treated, but now currently I must show ready. So once I mark the patient as ready, now the doctor or nurse or treating provider can start with the procedure or treatment, and a consultation can take place then from here. If you accidentally did change this to another status, just double click on the booking and change it manually to where you want it to be, and that for instance must be ready. So at any stage you can change the status if you feel the station was moved along too fast, and please make sure that once you mark it as ready, the next person takes over, and that's typically your doctor or the treating person that's going to see the patient now from here on. Remember how to edit your bookings. At any stage just double click it. Remember again, I said to you in the right hand corner you can delete it. That's if you made a mistake, or just change the status to cancelled if the patient cancelled his appointment. Please make sure you understand that you can go back to the learning center, and as you can see here, everything we discussed, extend, cancel, copy, repeat, book other appointments, all will be available on the learning center for you to go through that as well. So up to this point, when it's ready, a doctor can take over from here, but remember at any stage as well, you might get a call for a person that is currently not on the list for the day and they want more information. You can anytime here at the top, you will see diary, top left corner, then there's debtors. You can click on debtors. Here you will see a list of all your files. Again, you can search here specifically on that file, and you can also use the advanced search option here a bit to the right. Once you click on that line, also on the right hand side, you will see his addresses, telephone, medical aid information. Data edit is to view the file, go into his account, or do any of the actions that you require. Send an SMS and email. So a lot of times when you're currently looking at the patients for the day and someone walks in or phones you that's not on the list, you can just quickly switch to debtors and find their file from here and react on it by clicking on it, and then decide on the right hand side in the panel, what do you want to do. View the file, change the details, do billing or receipting, or go into the clinical information of that patient at any specific time. So please make sure you understand how to make a patient inactive, how to delete your appointments, how to change your appointments, move your appointments, extend your appointments, change the statuses, change the types at any stage. If you made a mistake, delete it, book the patient again. It's nothing quickly, it's easy and it's quick just to make another booking if you have made a mistake. If you do not see your deleted items, just make sure you switch it on to show active, and then see and react according to your options there. Look at your diary types, your multi-view, your multiple day view, and make sure your render policy is how you would like it. By time, it will start with the first person to the last person to record of that. By type, it will put all my emergencies together, all my consultations, all my follow-ups. And by status, it will start with all the arrived patients at the top, and then it will group all the ready patients, all the treated patients, and all the done patients. Just decide which path will work for you the best, and make sure that your Excel helps you to set it up in that sense. I think for now I've covered everything about the bookings. Please make sure you understand the new bookings, existing bookings, the difference in that, how to open your file. Remember to use the Debtor Add option, then import it directly from the medical aid or open it up manually. Load your patients manually if it's private patients, and also mark patients inactive if they are not part of that membership or file anymore. And then print out your diary if you need it, if you know there's going to be a power failures in that sense. But remember, you can access this from a cell phone or a tablet even, so you can still go on for a while even without the necessary power. Remember that you can print out the cover sheet if you're going to data edit, if someone needs that information. And remember, you must validate any existing membership if they walk in to confirm if they're still active. The validation here then will show red or orange or green depending on the result of that validation. look at this CDSIAV, make sure you understand the colors over time. Remember to hover over it just to show you what is currently outstanding or what is going on. I will explain this also a bit later when we get to debt management again. This is a very nice tool to help you to see exactly what's going on with your bookings or your patients that's currently at your office at that specific moment. On the right hand side, just make sure that you know how to do the SMSs. I will get to that also a bit later again. If I'm right, we will cover that a bit later in the next session in more details on the SMSs and emails. And we will explain that a bit more also downloading the statement when I get to the accounts part and the billing. Also show that a bit more in detail. So now, SMSs, again, at any stage you can send out an SMS, but for reminders, if you work on a booking system, there is a specific way where you can tell GoodX to send out SMSs every day for reminders for your next day. But I will get to these SMSs for accounts a bit later. If I understand correctly, certain practices will use this or not, depending on the reminder SMS option, if you are using bookings or not. So the next session we will start again at 11, and then we will cover the clinical information. So here we will go a bit more in detail on what is the clinical options in GoodX, everything from the medical history, so the patient's allergies, his chronic conditions, previous operations, anything like that, to the actual clinical events that will take place, like examinations or certain reports that I fill in depending on my discipline, and then to scripts and sick notes, and even the uploading of any other clinical documentation like pathology reports, x-rays, or anything, referral letters that the doctor or practitioner wants to see under clinical uploads for these patients. Thank you, and I will see you a bit later.